Hello, welcome to Skye Sweaty Record Review, episode 78. The internet's only new music review show, hosted by a French professor immediately after getting off the elliptical at the YMCA. So today we're going to be reviewing Julia Jacklin, who is a real-life Australian woman. Last episode, I ended up reviewing a band called Methyl Ethel, and I liked it, and I talked about their female lead singer. Turns out it's a bloke. It's a dude. I said bloke because he's Australian. So just by chance, I ended up reviewing her. I was actually almost going to review Drake. I was almost going to review Home Shake. A whole bunch of other good albums came out this week. But I ended up going with Julia Jacklin because it immediately grabbed me. Now, it's a 4-track album, but every track is great. Every track is worth listening to. This may be my favorite thing I've listened to this year. I can't quite tell. It's highly confessional. It's actually very similar to X-Ray, which is so far my most popular video. But it feels very much like the story of a young woman who's just gone through a breakup. The album is called Crushing. Here's the cover. So you can see it's kind of her looking sort of weird. Not as weird as the screen looks. What's going on, Skye? Is that better? Does that come? Yeah, there you go. That comes across better. So you see how she looks kind of weird and not trying to have the most flattering picture. And the album's called Crushing. And I think it's a play on words. Well, I know it's a play on words because on the one hand, when you crush on someone, you're all excited about love. But then the other hand, relationships can be crushing. And this is an album about both those things. And it uses those kinds of plays on words often. So this is my guess. I've only listened to the album once. I listened to it carefully. And it appears to me to be a very tight album. I think it's only 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And it's about a woman. And I could be wrong. If you're a fan of Julia Jacklin, that's spelled Jacklin. If you're a fan of Julia Jacklin, please correct me in the comments. It feels like this is just a single cohesive narrative line, much like X-Ray. She was dating a guy. He wasn't good for her. He was kind of a loser, but he has good friends, I guess. She was crushed by this breakup. She tries to move on. She tries online dating with not much success. She tries to go out and party and with not much success. And then in the end, she's left alone and realizes that the pain is that she caused it herself because she was the one who called it off. Now, if that sounds like an interesting album to you, I found it very interesting myself. This may be the best vocalist I've ever reviewed. So I get really, I don't know. I don't usually like good singers. If a singer's really good, I don't know. It feels like they oversing too often. So my favorite kind of singers are singers who have amazing vocal range, can do amazing things, but somehow manage not to oversing. Like Harry Nilsson or Morrissey. And I would put her actually in that category. I mean, she has an amazing range, and she does a couple of those kind of vocal tricks, little punches and rising of registers but somehow she never oversins. It's just beautiful. I mean, her voice is really beautiful, and it doesn't feel like she's trying to win a singing competition. But the way that these vocals mix together with the music, which is somewhere in between well-produced and lo-fi. It's just kind of just straight rock and roll, I would call it. It's defined as indie pop, but I don't know what that means, so it just feels like rock and roll to me. Just straightforward, guitar-driven, just, ba-ba-ba-ba kind of music. And it's just absolutely great. Really, really excellent album. The whole album drew me in with the song called Body. And that has what I believe is the best first line I've heard in a long time. Well, I know it's, I'm using too many superlatives in this episode. That's what my weakness is. I'm prone to hyperbole. I'm the most prone to hyperbole person there's ever been. So let's listen to the first track, Body. You'll hear what I like a lot about it. It's got this really nice, muted drum line that's a little bit behind the rest of the song. Very, pulsing, low bass. And eventually it gets kind of textured. But see if you can hear the first line of this song. Tell me this doesn't draw you in. Yeah.
The police met their plane. They let you finish your meal. just a boy who could not.
Okay, it's great. I can't wait to listen to it again. So, if you couldn't hear it, the police met you on the plane. So it's this whole story about like this guy who got caught for smoking in the lavatory. He was tampering or destructing the smoke detector in the bathroom and was smoking in the bathroom of an airplane. And like this is the moment where she decides it's over. She can't be with this guy, as she says, like, I'm no good when I'm not with you. But you know, this like nice atmosphere that she sets with this track.
Get to a domestic flight.
And it's excellent. The rest of the song kind of follows on, but what's great is the song's called Body, and she talks about how now the relationship is over, she's going to get her body back, which is, I don't know, something I've heard in a couple of my relationships when they've ended. Just this kind of sense of like, I'm back, I've got myself back, I've got my body back. But there's a great bittersweetness to the way that she says that. And in particular, the last verse, she goes on to talk about how he took a picture of her once with her clothes off, and she's wondering if that picture is going to surface somewhere, you know, a very modern problem. And she's like, it's okay, it's only my body, it's only my life. And so you realize, like, she's trying to get her body back, and she's trying to get her life back, and she doesn't know if she wants it, and she doesn't know if she's going to be hurt. A very complex set of emotions wrapped in with this great musical atmosphere.
Without lighting up, in the restroom got cold.
Okay. So then the next track is called Head Alone. So what's nice is you had the body working, both as her talking about getting her body back and then the picture of her body, and then the song Head Alone. She's kind of like, I don't know, songwriting kind of like, you know how Willie Nelson always like has songs about his ears and his heart and his mind and his eyes and his mouth, you know? It's kind of similar to that. Like the first song is about her body, next song is about her head. And I believe this is a song about online dating, because it's like, send a picture, it seems like send a picture with your full body because the head alone doesn't tell me anything. And if you spend any time on online dating, you know that this is a dynamic that especially women have to put up with, of men just seeing pictures of faces and heads and saying, no, let me see the whole body, I need to know if it's even worth talking to you. The kind of crass ugliness of online dating, the kind of thing that just makes you not want to ever online date. But then she goes further, and it becomes actually a song that's more about the importance of having your mind in a relationship and not wanting, as she says, to be touched all the time. And saying you can't love someone without using your hands. So it's sort of on one hand a song about how disgusting it is that men always just need to see bodies, right? And then on the other hand, it's about like the corporeal nature of love and how much it resists the sort of idealized love of the mind and of the head, as opposed to the body. Do you see how much I like this album? I really like it. And then there's the rockin' song, okay? The rockin' song is called Pressure to Party. And this fits in with a genre of music, which I think was perfected by the Smiths and their song How Soon Is Now, the I Hate Partying song, which is usually great because most songs about hating partying are actually kind of good songs to dance to and to party to. So listen to this one just for a second so you get a taste of it. This is your more upbeat stuff. You can get a sense of her singing a little bit more too in this one. Her range. So it's this rockin' song that is just drenched in this sense of heartbreak and loss. The pressure to party. Great sadness of youth song, you know, like I'm young and fun, but being young and fun sucks. It really does. I'm happy to be like middle age because like the fun I have now is way better than partying, you know, like the fun of getting the new Lucky Charms with a new leprechaun trap on it. You know, that's more fun than going to the club and, as she says, pressure to have fun, pressure to move on, pressure to get over her ex, pressure to drink. And she just constantly feels like she just wants to be alone in her room and sad. And she needs to get out there. And that line, I know where you live, I used to live there too. She's really not over whoever this guy is. but he sounds like a loser. So hopefully she is. I mean, the whole album starts off and you're like, man, this guy he's getting arrested on an airplane for smoking in the bathroom. Julia, get out of this relationship. But you still feel this pain. And then the album ends, the fourth track, with just a beautiful, simple song called Comfort. And it's just her and a guitar. That's it. And it's beautifully sung, very restrained. It sounds like it was a first take. The guitar is not particularly well mic'd. And it's just about the guilt of being the one who causes a breakup, and then the feeling stupid of like, he'll be fine. I know he's got lots of good friends, and he'll rebound no problem. Well, she's sitting there hoping that she'll be able to sleep through the night sometime. So it's great. An actual Australian woman released an album. Australia's having a great week this week, at least in terms of music. I don't know what's happening domestically. So I don't know how would I give this a 3-word review. Boy, I think I'm gonna have to wait. I'm gonna have to wait, and you'll see it on the thumbnail for the album, because I have so much to say about this. It's such a wonderfully sung, wonderfully written, concise, heartbreaking, thematically consistent, beautifully sung album. I don't know how I'll reduce it. I will tell you that I did see something interesting on the banks of the TVs while I was working out. When a house of worship turns into a house of horrors. I don't know. That's a pretty frightful thing. Okay, so till next time, for the dog from Rick and Morty and Julia Jacklin, there's the camera. Is it Snowball? No, what's his name? Fluffy? Fluffers? Now, if you remember the name of the dog from Rick and Morty, put that in the comments too.